Hi there, this is Jim Keys coming to you from Key Largo. It has been an interesting 24 hours of recording. I don't know, still recording right now. I think I'm still recording. Yes. Ah, yeah, we're still recording. It's been very interesting 24 hours. Oh, it's still very interesting 24 hours. Still speaking to you. So I was doing a brief episode, and I was talking whatever should I talk about. I don't know if I was talking about acceptance. It was like yesterday, right at the end of my recording, I was watching the Maga protest in Washington, and I saw the whole thing. Just I felt it, and I was not shocked. I was amazed. I was shocked. I was not shocked it happened. I was shocked that the powers that be did not handle that. There was not more coordination. As we know, we've seen the pictures of the where there was the Black Lives Matter protest in Washington, and Homeland Security and everyone had everything. But they had guys in Comkeepers and all that. They had everyone from the National Park here at the Capitol Police. Some of them, I know they let people through, and then they just kept letting them. They started waving them in, and people started coming into the Capitol. And they ran the barricades, and it's there for everyone to see. Now, the thing I think that the Capitol Police, a lot of the line officers were either some of them were sympathetic to them because they were taking selfies, but then other ones were left out to dry when the inadequate. When you've seen that rush of people come through the Capitol Rotunda, and there was hundreds of people, and there was only, it looked like at one point there was only 25 officers, and I guess there was restrictions on using lethal force. People forced their way in to the Capitol. That's a good chance, anybody else, they would have gotten shot, right? Don't explain. And people say, well, they say, oh, well, you didn't say anything about them burning cities and things like that when that happened. And I'll get to that later. They were protesting the loss of life, and I still think what the rioting was a wrong message to send. I can understand if you feel as if that the powers that be aren't being responsive to you, and that you feel your life is cheaper than others, then you might behave that way. Yes. Okay. Now, getting to these guys. They've been under a constant barrage by the president and their supporters that the election was fake, which they put out, 60 cases, and they were shot down by Republican appointed judges, Trump appointees. Even Trump's appointee, William Barr, the Attorney General, said he saw no evidence of voting irregularity, and as well as the people that he called, the Secretary of State for Georgia, concerning this past weekend. But I did see, before I recorded, I saw Trump talk to his crowd, and you saw that same thing. He says, we're going to walk down, we're going to show them. They use all this language. We're going to show them. He always used this language before. Now, people suggest that when he's using this language, that he isn't directly ordering people to do that stuff. But what would you expect from people that have been listening to QAnon and they're on Parler telling all these things, and they believe that we're trying to turn the country into a communist state? They're convinced of it, and that the Democrats are a group of politicians are running a child blood drinking sex cartel. What a crazy thing to come up with. I mean, unless they know someone who's running a sex cartel, which he did know. He did know Epstein, and that was kind of like a child sex ring. And he did run the Miss Teen USA, Miss Teen World, and he talked about walking through and, you know, but that's neither here nor there. It's very interesting. And then, so all this happens yesterday. The president puts out a brief video thanking everyone who, the great patriots that showed up, and that he loves them. He didn't damn them. Told them to go back home. It's time to go back home. Do this, that. Even though this is the greatest steal of election and which he has yet any evidence has survived in court to support that. You know, he has thousands of affidavits. You know what an affidavit is? It's a sworn testimony that something happened. And we all know that an affidavit is nothing like showing a video or having proof and things like that, which they didn't have proof, so they had affidavits and stuff like that. So we go in, we have thousands of people come and assault our Capitol building while representatives of this democracy are attempting to certify the Electoral College count, which is what they must do according to on January 6th. Now, right then, if they were going to intimidate somebody, that the time when they were doing it's over. And there should have been people there. It shouldn't have been overpowered. They shouldn't have been able to go in there. There was no threat of physical firearms being used against them. So they just went in. There was the one video of the poor guy trying to face down 20 people. And he has one of those retractable clubs. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Well, they had to evacuate the building and all that stuff. And finally people got angry. And there's some people crying now. They said, I believed him when it happened, and they feel responsible that they enabled this president, which we've been telling all along. And you see it on social media. I'm still getting a lot of pings right now. It's on social media. I can't really shut that off. But there's a lot of people chiming in. Well, you know, at what point? So the Rubicon where, like Lindsey Graham said, I've had enough, I'm done, I'm out of here, was yesterday when his supporters came in. And it was his supporters because the new rumor is they're showing pictures of them at Antifa things, and it says Philadelphia Antifa and all this stuff. And if you follow these guys' social medias, they're white supremacists, they're QAnon, and Unless QAnon is also Antifa. And that's a supporter of president. So maybe Antifa was like but the QAnon people and stuff like that, the white supremacists, the KKK, the secessionists, the anti-maskers, all of them, they came down. And yeah, there were probably people that just walked on in with a group of people into the Capitol. But then there was people that were legitimately, when they were breaking into the chamber. You see the videos. And they got pictures of them. So yeah, accuse them of being Antifa and stuff like that. They're going to start arresting them. And they're going to start singing. And the one person you're always going to see is the guy without a shirt, with the face paint, the Viking horns on his head, the animal skins on him. You say animals? And the big body tattoos, running around. He had a megaphone. That guy is a white supremacist. Follow him on that on all the social media. Now, Parler's putting out all this stuff, and now that Trump can't go on to Facebook or Twitter for at least a while, because they're afraid that he's inciting people. So what they're doing is maybe they're going to restrict him if he sends out a video. They're going to look at the video and say, listen, no, we're not going to play it. Maybe it's on the whitehouse.com. He's going to tell everyone, he says, listen, if you need a message from the president, come to whitehouse.com. But they're floating around the question of the 25th Amendment. The 25th Amendment is the Emergency Powers Act that takes the president when it becomes a threat. Takes the president out of the decision-making loop. And they say, well, it takes a long time. No, it does not take a long time. It just takes some urgency. You know, you have Mike Pompeo, who I'm sure who has still lingering ambitions, which they're quickly doing. Anybody that's still associated with this guy, those ambitions are lingering. Now, they may end up with a Trump party. They may wind up with a Trump party where you get the QAnon people and all that stuff. But they're going to be a fringe group for a while. And there's going to be people associated with that. There's going to be people that went to the rally, and they're going to distance themselves from it once they see those things. 3 people died of medical emergency. I'm sure there were heart attacks and stuff like that because they were overly excited. You've seen, unfortunately, a lot of his supporters have poor self-care skills. You know, there's a lot of high blood pressure, hypertension, and stuff like that. I don't wish death on anybody. I think it's a shame that young lady was shot. She was also climbing through she was trying to climb through a window into the House of Representatives when the Capitol Police shot her. I don't think it'd be hard for them to dispute it because, you know, a Maga supporter is a big believer in that castle theory. You know, man's home is the castle. And the people were breaking into a federal building. And Trump said if you go in to face a federal building, minimum $10 years imprisonment. Minimum. So they made all these social media posts and stuff like that. I really don't understand. They're going to be showing all this stuff. The guy that was sitting in Pelosi's chair. The guy that was sitting in the speaker's chair. Guy that's walking around with the speaker's podium. All sorts of people coming in there and stuff like that. Yeah, they did all that shit. You know, it's an amazing thing. They climbed up the outside. They even got on a window cleaner's platform, went up and removed the flag and threw it on the ground, an American flag, and tried to replace it with a Trump flag. There you go. There's all the people that hate, have a problem with some guys kneeling during the national anthem. They're kneeling like they do when they pray, as a form of protest. But someone takes the American flag off the Capitol while they're assaulting it. And they did assault it. When they broke the windows and stuff, they saw the symbol of our representative democracy. Because the Capitol is the seat of the Senate and House of Representatives. Yeah, they assaulted our seat of representative democracy. So they said there was upwards about 40,000 people at the rally. They may have had, I don't know how many people would have ended up assaulting the Capitol, but let's say there's 10,000. We could have easily put a couple thousand troops around there, and they did have them on call and stuff like that before. They could have had that all. Just had the Capitol Police secure the hard points and stuff like that, so they couldn't come in and bust the windows out, things like that. But they dropped the ball. I mean, it was such a big thing. They knew it was coming. It wasn't a hidden agenda. People were talking about it openly in Parlor, what they were going to try to do. And they were very excited about it. I have a friend who's a big follower of is a friend. I still remember him fondly. What a nice guy. I don't get what happened. Some kind of trauma or something like that. But the guy became a Q follower. And we didn't even get direct talking. We were texting each other. And he just said, you're so naive, Jim. You're going to see the president's he's going to be the president in 2021. I don't even know if he's going to be the president for the rest of his term. That's what I understand you guys think you could do your stuff. I understand that you think that if you could put it together a couple hundred boats with some Trump flags That was just a fucking crazy cult of personality. Why the hell would anybody do something like that? Why do we run around? Why did they run around with Trump? The guy's a coward. They went and seized the house, and he could have went over there. He was kind of upbeat. They said he was upbeat, walking between the Oval Office and the dining room about that. And then I guess people started realizing how bad it was. He didn't really realize how bad it was, but then he made a video outside, and he still couldn't. He still couldn't come clean. He shut it down. Mike Pence, who's been kissing his ass all the time, told one of the fellow senators, he says, I've been doing all this stuff for him. I can't believe he did this to me. He has no loyalty to anybody other than himself. He doesn't even have it to the people that did it. The only reason that he may try to seek to pardon everyone who broke into the Congress. I don't think that's going to work if it's supposed to protect him, because that could be used as an admission to guilt. Don Jr. Told them they got to fight. Giuliani said trial by combat, taking a thing from the Game of Thrones. And if it is trial by combat, besides losing, because now Biden, they certified the Electoral College. If you watch the Game of Thrones, whoever your champion was had to defeat the other champion. And if it was your people, then they're the ones that died. I feel sorry for them. I don't know what they think what Trump thinks of you. Whether he cares. You certainly won't be invited into Mar-a-Lago. Yeah, he may have asked you to come to the White House to meet him on the lawn, to take you into the Oval Office or something like that. That may be it. That's it. He doesn't give a shit about you. You're the great unwashed. He doesn't care for you. He's going to end up just hiding, quieting down, shutting up. He finally acknowledged it. Still saying he was cheated and stuff like that. Remember in 2016? Even though Hillary won like 4 million votes, 5 million votes, and by 5 million votes, they tried to shut down the Electoral College, which, if it wasn't for Electoral College, he wouldn't have won the first time. So people may say, hey, listen, this Electoral College is really convoluted. We should just go by the popular vote. You hear that? Popular vote. I don't know how you got up to 70-something million had. Now, I don't understand how 90 million people didn't vote for Joe Biden. You guys couldn't understand because you and your friends, the only people you talk to on Parler, and the people you cajole, and the people that, were afraid of having their taxes raised and stuff like that. Most people aren't like you. They don't care. They don't care about you. You're going to go back to your thing and, whatever you do, back to your trailer in Tennessee. You might or may not be involved with the crystal meth trade. It seems like a lot of sketchy people involved that seem to be involved with those, the protests, the people that came in there. They look like people that I'm sure they have records. I'm sure it'll be very interesting seeing the trials that are coming up. They're almost all the you'll see right now a couple people have already resigned, maybe 6 people, but it's just coming as more people resign. They just say, hey, listen, it's like one of those things where they're the more people are leaving the ship. There's a reason why they're doing it. Because the last people to stay, remember Hitler's bunker? What happened? I mean, they started, some of the diehards killed himself. The ones that weren't so diehard, they looked for places to get out of there. They just snuck out, then surrendered. I don't know what they thought was going to happen, but I mean, he could have finessed his way without this. He could have finessed his way into probably another trial run at the presidency again in 2024. I think he's in the beginning of dementia. I'm talking about Trump. He could have done it. He could have salvaged some of his reputation. Lindsey Graham said it last night. He says, listen, they're just going to remember this. This is all they're going to remember. And already there was a whole group of people that believed that you were the worst president. Just because 18% of the people in the United States suggested you were, at the time, you're the most admired man in the United States. That's because it was you, and they split every other great person, Obama, Joe Biden, but whatever other man, Bernie Sanders, they were all dividing the other people, saying, and you got 18%, and the rest of them got like 15, 16%. It just means that 18% of the people had very bad judgment, or maybe they had great judgment because you're exactly like they are, selfish and power hungry. I was never afraid to say anything about the president. There was never one time. My dad said when I went to Poland last summer, the summer before, he said, be careful what you say when you go over there. Don't make any declarations. I said, well, I'm not really that keen in Polish politics. I'm not gonna do that. I don't go overseas and talk shit about my country. But I would definitely talk shit about Donald Trump. Yep. You ruined all the bullshit about your presidency. Everything. Trying to undo everything that Obama did. Never introducing a new health care plan. The big, beautiful health care plan. You never had it. 4 years you had. You never did it. You didn't do any infrastructure. Did a shitty rollout for COVID, the COVID vaccine. You did a shitty prevention. No mask mandate. What the hell? The rest of the world did it. And did better than we did. And you'll say, because we're the best at testing. No. We need to test because no one's doing any contact tracing or anything like that. We have more deaths than the next two countries or next three countries. And one of those countries has 3-4 times the population of us. That's India. Who cares what China says? China may not even say it, but maybe there's a lot in China. Probably isn't. Because China did it, they're more draconian than we are, and we did the mask thing. Why did they do the mask? They draconian did the mask thing? They didn't do it to control the people. They did it because they tried to control the virus. They control the people by not giving them access to the internet and put them in concentration camps. The mask thing was for the virus. They were smart about that. Taiwan did it. Their enemy, Taiwan, did the same kind of tactics when it came to attacking coronavirus. South Korea did too. And somewhat North Korea did. North Korea may not have done it as well. But then again, how big things are they getting a group of people together for? You know what I mean? They don't have a bunch of concerts and shit like only one of their leaders getting together. So, as we wind down, I really appreciate that at the end of this, I hear people that pitch in their conspiracy theories about other people being involved and stuff like that. And a friend of mine who's very funny down here, he runs a trivia night. He's a good bartender down here, Sean. I appreciate him. Got a great sense of humor. He likened Trump to a girlfriend a bad girlfriend who, gave you gonorrhea, all sorts of STDs, hepatitis, and shit like that, and you're still faithful to her. But as soon as she gives you AIDS, you dump her. And yeah, so Trump's like a guy, like that girl that gave you AIDS. There you go. And so I thought it was funny. I was trying to eat my breakfast when I read it, and then I realized I wasn't that hungry. So I made a comment about it, and then another guy comes in and makes a comment, and he's always been like he's a young fella, and he fancies himself a businessman and all this stuff, but he's just you liberals. Using these titles once you label somebody like that, you all pretty much know what they think of you. So you liberals, you're going to have to put it with the shit show part 2. Well, he's saying shit show part 1 was his. And we didn't even try yet. So he's starting to admit it was a shit show. He says, let it go. Let it go. I think you forgot, all you people putting up your banners and your Maga hats, your big fucking red hats from China. Trump's the greatest thing in the world. Having Rambo, thing, having show fat fuck in photoshopped as Rambo. He never had a body like that. Never even got close to that. Christ. All that shit. The fucking boat parades. Your rallies. The fucking rallies. What the fucking rallies? Who does rallies? No one else did rallies. He did rallies. It was a personality thing. He just wanted people to cheer for him. Oh, man. You guys... And you want us to lay off. And you know what? We will, because we don't do that. Even though when we loved Obama. We loved everything about Obama. We were proud of Obama. Obama never did anything shit like that. He never incited people to riot. Never told them to go. Walk down the street and do something like that just because he disagreed with them. When he lost something, he lost something. He had a Senate that was against him the whole time. Senate. Well... After 2 years in, the Senate was, remember Mitch McConnell says we're going to do everything we can to make it a one-term presidency, and we're trying to, and with Merrick Garland not saying, God damn it. And we didn't have rallies. Now they went to see, we bought his books and all that stuff, and, it was funny. Here we go. Obama's the most intelligent. Two of the most intelligent people to be in the White House, and you have the 2 least intelligent people in the White House right now. I hate to say it, they are. Melania was not an engineer, unless she was the engineering penis. Sorry. She was attractive until she had all that plastic surgery. You see her eyes got all narrow and all that stuff. God damn it. You know what? They deserve what they get. I was just discussing with my wife the other day. I couldn't imagine I'd ever want to be that guy. Imagine that. They admired, the most admired man. And I was thinking, holy crap, I would never want. First of all, there's a lot of people I wouldn't want to be. Because I wouldn't want, obviously, I don't have the notoriety, right? Stuff like that. I'm doing a podcast that has nominal listenership and things like that. We'll see what happens, right? But I don't know what it'd be like to walk around and not know it. I live in a small town. I already know people know me and shit like that. I'm going to go to the supermarket and probably run into some people. But, I don't really envy the life he has. And I definitely wouldn't want to be him as a person. There's not probably one woman in the past that had a relationship with him that has anything nice to say about him. That isn't currently involved with him right now. And I don't even think the one involved with him right now has anything nice. It's going to be amazing, the stories that come out of that White House, especially at the end of it. So just stay tuned, guys. This asshole, he's done his damage. Hopefully he won't do any more. He's got 13 days left. Hopefully he'll go down to Mar-a-Lago, West Palm Beach, and play some golf, eat some hamburger, whatever cheeseburgers that he likes. And you know what? See what he does for you guys. He won't do shit. Like he never did shit for you before. I mean, he talked about the 2000 stuff. He really doesn't give a shit. But listen, you go and follow him some more and see what happens to your orange Jesus, okay? I'd like to thank you for listening. I'd like to thank everyone from Georgia. I had a lot of listeners from Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, New Jersey, New York, India. Thank you, India. Thank you, France. I thank you, Canada. We'll have better relationships pretty soon, hopefully. So take care. God bless, and I'll see you on the other side.